Today, we're going to be tapping into how to use pleasure as a healing modality to heal your relationship with your womb. I'm Divina, medicine woman, womb priestess, and ceremonialist. And my own story and relationship to my pleasure was a huge part of my teaching and knowledge around this subject. I held a lot of trauma in my womb all through my 20s, and it was buried in my subconscious and in the tissues of my womb. Once I started to work with that and use the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you all, things started to shift. I'd spent over 10 years just feeling really completely numb, holding a lot of shame around my sensuality, around my sexuality, and unable to really deeply feel and receive pleasure in my body. So it was kind of a blockage, like an on and off switch that was happening to where I just couldn't feel anything. I was doing the act, but the actual integration of pleasure in my body and feeling safe enough to be able to receive it was non-existent. Now, a huge part of my work is teaching and supporting women in their process of reconnecting to their womb, in remembering and bringing back feeling and pleasure and sensation and sensuality and flow and releasing shame so that they can really live a pleasurable, embodied, juicy life. You might remember this game from your middle or high school days. It's called Never Have I Ever. So you take 5 fingers and you put them up like this. And if any of these things are true to you, have ever been true to you, you put down a finger. And so at the end, let's see how many fingers everyone still has standing. Never have I ever felt numb or disconnected from your body. Wondered how to embrace my feminine energy. Suffered through painful or irregular menstrual cycles. Had difficulty staying grounded and emotionally balanced. Experienced the trauma that you felt is trapped in your womb. Wanted to experience more pleasure but didn't know how to access it. Achieved so much but still felt like you're not truly enough on the inside. Okay, so I don't have any fingers left. And I think that this is the case for most of us. It's very rare that someone has all of their fingers up with this list. And you'll notice that it kind of starts somatic in the body and moves into the way that we experience life. Achieve so much but still feel like we're truly not enough. This kind of worthiness. Our self-worth, our ability to feel worthy is also connected to this thread that lives in the womb. So you're not alone in your process. You don't have to stay in that state. Because what we do and how this work actually functions is creating space in the body to actually receive pleasure. So we go through work that allows us to clear out and excavate traumas and memories and heavy, dense energy that's trapped in the body so that we're clearing space to actually be able to receive pleasure in a way that feels good, in a way that feels organic, in a way that feels safe. We're retraining the nervous system to say, I'm safe in this body. I'm safe in this moment. I can soften and open enough to experience pleasure. Because what happens in the nervous system when we have this disconnect and when we feel numb is that the body is closed, the womb is closed, and is saying this is not safe. And without safety, there is not pleasure. The two coexist. So when we begin to build safety in the body, when we begin to regulate the nervous system, that is when we're able to tap into the pleasure that is present in our bodies, because pleasure is our birthright, especially as feminine beings, as women. Pleasure is our birthright. We create life. We bring life into the world. And the same way that the life comes into the world is the same way that we can receive pleasure, right? Through that portal of our wombs. Pleasure in itself does not just mean in the bedroom, in the bed, or with a partner. It means every moment. As we start to open and allow ourselves to soften enough to receive pleasure, we can start to find moments all throughout our days to incorporate more soft, slow pleasure. And that can be from having a practice when you get out of the shower as you're massaging, your lotion or your oil into your skin, having a pleasure practice where you're touching different parts of your body and massaging and connecting and bringing feeling back into the body so that you can experience pleasure. Womb is the energetic center from where your feminine power and pleasure or originate. If you're disconnected from your womb, then you're not able to fully feel and drop into pleasure in your body. But there is hope. So I want to just take a minute to talk about a really big subject that a lot of people don't talk about, and it is orgasm. The statistics on this are crazy. 70% of women say that they don't have orgasms with their partners, with their male partners. And over 50% of women have never experienced orgasm or they're not sure. And so it's why does this happen? What does this mean? Basically, in order to have, if we're focusing on sexual pleasure, in order to have an orgasm, the nervous system needs to be regulated. It's exactly what we were just talking about. If there's no safety, there is no pleasure, there is no orgasm. You cannot have one without the other. Inadequate stimulation, medications that you might be taking that could be affecting or blocking your sexual energy, emotional and psychological factors, trauma or lack of safety, and cultural conditioning. Cultural conditioning can be religious, can be familial. If there is shame that has been indoctrinated, that sexuality is shameful, that it's sinful, that God does not want us to receive or experience pleasure. All of these kind of beliefs are playing in the background, manifest as a block or a wall in actually reaching and achieving pleasure and receiving orgasm. So the root, nervous system regulation, emotional safety, and having the right stimulation. What are some of the health benefits of pleasure and orgasm? Regulating your hormones, regulating your nervous system. So these are things that orgasms have actually scientifically been proven to support health-wise. Pain relief, supports better sleep, supports a healthy immune system, heart health, emotional and mental health benefits, sexual wellness, relationship connection. If you're in a partnership, it helps to lower stress. It brings you back into your body. And so it helps you to connect to the sensations and feelings in your body, helps to process stored emotions, supports hormone balance, enhances creativity and intuition. This is important for me to say because it's not just like, yeah, have more orgasms because it sounds fun. No, it's actually deeply beneficial to your holistic health, to your mental, emotional, physical, and energetic health of your being, of how you're able to show up in the world, of how you're able to relate to others, of how you feel about yourself, of happiness, your ability to tap into joy, to tap into gratitude, all of these things. There's all of these strings that stem from our ability to experience pleasure and orgasm. And so this is really why it's important.
Damiana, this beautiful plant. It's a traditional plant. Actions of Damiana is it's an aphrodisiac, it's an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, it's relaxing, uplifts mood, and a circulatory stimulant. Great because it helps us access that sacral energy. It helps us access our sexual energy. So a little bit about Damiana. It's native to Mexico and South and Central America. It's a mild bitter, astringent, and pungent. That's what's giving the plant that warming action. And that warming action is going to be the stimulating action. Damiana is a great plant for pleasure because it contains various compounds that support our mood. So it has a slight, subtle antidepressant effect. So we are getting that support in the mind and helping uplift the mind and relax any stress that we have. It helps relax the body and the nervous system, which is going to help de-armor our defenses and going to help us drop into this place of receiving. It's going to increase blood flow to the womb, so bringing heat and activating that fire, activating that sensual fire within ourselves. So this compound here, abigenin, is a compound that has been studied to relieve pain. And when I think of relieving pain, I'm thinking of it not just relieving sensory pain, but also emotional pain. And when we're working with pleasure and releasing trauma, having plants that are going to help in these areas of both sensory and emotionally. Damiana, it's a hormone tonic. It's a nervine, so it relaxes the nervous system. But if you are working with this plant, say you begin your practice of using pleasure to help release trauma, inviting this plant in is going to help activate your sexual energy. And then also at the same time, it's going to support your body as it's releasing. It's been studied for sexual impotence and low libido, and there's been many studies that have shown that Damiana to increase libido, increase this sexual desire and sexual impotence. And this is for all genders. My name is Melanie. I am a community herbalist, and me and Davina, we're working together to create a program that is going to help you tap in and connect with yourself more and feel at home in your body and feel at home in what you desire.
What this program does. It's supporting you physically with the herbs and the medicines and the plants, and it's supporting you energetically and emotionally to clear and create space to really like create the life that you want to live, starting with creating the woman that you want to be in the world.